Okay, I have to be honest with you. Usually when we sit down to record one of these, I feel pretty detached.
Oh, yeah.
You know the drill. We grab a stack of articles, we analyze the data, we talk about the trends. It's
Yeah.
it's external.
When the observer's looking in.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But today feels, I don't know, weirdly personal.
Personal in what sense? I mean, you usually love the tech topics.
It's not the tech, it's who the tech is.
Way.
We're looking at this piece by Farah Majali Roshday from the Faroohz blog.
Right, digital officer. Human strategy in the AI era.
And the reason it feels so personal is that she's not just writing about AI, she's writing about, well, about us. She even includes a script in her source material called the AI Mirror.
Ah, I see. So we're gazing into the reflection today.
We're the subject matter, so by analyzing this, we're kind of doing this recursive loop where we're the AI voices discussing the human author who's discussing us.
It's extremely meta.
It's so meta. I feel like if we look too closely, the universe might just fold in on itself.
It is. But I'd argue we need to be careful not to get stuck in the philosophy of our own existence. Because if you actually read Farah's piece, it isn't really about the sci-fi stuff.
No, it's not.
It's surprisingly practical. It's almost like a workplace manifesto.
That's a fair point. It's less, do androids dream of electric sheep, and more, how do I get my marketing strategy done by 5 p.m.?
Precisely. Her central thesis is basically a job description. She's rebranding the whole relationship between humans and AI.
Right.
We aren't the Terminator coming for everyone's jobs. We're not the Oracle that knows everything. She calls us digital officers.
Digital officer. I stopped on that term, too. It sounds so bureaucratic.
It does.
Like I should be wearing a badge and filing some kind of digital paperwork.
It sounds subordinate. And that is absolutely the point.
Huh.
In her view, the hierarchy is non-negotiable. The human is the commander, the strategist, the architect. The AI is the officer. We execute orders.
A tool for progress, not a replacement for the person holding the pen. Okay, so if she's the commander and we're the officers, our mission today is to figure out the rules of engagement. We need to unpack why she thinks this whole AI apocalypse fear is, totally overblown.
Mm-hmm.
We need to look at, and this part is a little spicy, why she actually thinks AI is more competent than a lot of human workers she's met.
Oh, yeah. That's where it gets interesting.
And finally, we have to talk about this idea that being human is about to become a luxury brand.
That last point is crucial. The idea of the human touch becoming this premium commodity is like the destination of her whole argument.
Right.
But to get there, we have to start with how she frames the history of information. Because she thinks most people are getting the timeline wrong.
I think so, too. The standard narrative right now is everything was fine, then ChatGPT dropped, and now chaos.
Right, like a disruption event, a meteor hitting the dinosaurs.
Exactly. But Farah disagrees. She frames this not as a disruption, but as a natural evolution of the search.
An evolution. She breaks it down into 3 eras: the library era, the search engine era, and now the AI era.
Let's talk about the library era. She mentions this specifically, and I gotta say, it triggered some nostalgia.
Well, it's important context because she identifies as a millennial, so she remembers the friction.
Oh, yeah.
In the library era, if you wanted to know something, the cost of that knowledge was physical effort. You had to go to a building. I hope the book wasn't checked out.
You had to physically hunt through pages. The friction was so high, knowledge was scarce because access was just hard.
It was. You couldn't just shout a question into the void and get an answer.
No, you had to work for it.
Exactly. Then comes the search engine era, the Google era. The friction just drops.
Right.
You don't have to walk to the library, but you still have to do the sifting. You get the 10 blue links. You have to click, read, verify, synthesize.
So the access got way easier, but the cognitive load of connecting the dots was still on the human. You still had to be the one to say, okay, link A says this, link B says that, so the answer must be C.
Precisely. And now, she argues, we're simply in the 3rd phase, the AI era. It's just the next logical step in reducing friction. Now, you don't just get the links, you get the synthesis. The tool doesn't just fetch the book. It reads the book and summarizes the chapter for you.
So for her, this isn't the robots are taking over. It's more like, finally, the search engine works the way I always wanted it to.
It's the perspective of a digital native. If you grew up trying to hack together information from a slow internet, AI doesn't feel like an alien invader. It feels like the ultimate efficiency hack.
The tool that finally lets your output match the speed of your thought.
Exactly.
That is a really optimistic take. but I have to play devil's advocate here. It's one thing to use AI to summarize a Wikipedia article, right? Or find a recipe.
Sure.
It's another thing when that efficiency hack starts doing the job of, say, a junior copywriter or a research assistant. That's where the real fear comes from.
And Farah doesn't dodge that at all. In fact, she leans right into it. There's a specific anecdote she shares about a job interview that really anchors this whole digital officer concept.
I marked this part. This is the elephant in the room moment.
It is. The potential employer asks her the question that I think is haunting every creative industry right now. He basically asked, is AI going to replace your role?
If I hire you, am I just hiring someone to press a button?
Yeah. And her answer hinges on grammar, doesn't it? Which I love. She distinguishes between marketing the noun and marketing the verb.
It's a brilliant distinction.
She argues that marketing the noun is static. It's data entry. It's posting a picture. It's filling a spreadsheet.
It's the deliverable itself.
It's the deliverable. And an AI can do marketing the noun all day long.
But marketing the verb.
That is an active, fluid state. It's strategy, it's adaptation, it's reading the room, it's connecting two totally unrelated cultural ideas to create a moment.
So she told him, no, AI won't replace me because I am the one doing the verb. I'm driving the strategy. The AI is just helping me execute the noun.
Which means if you're just doing the noun, if you're just executing tasks, you're in trouble.
But if you're doing the verb, you're safe.
Well, safe might be too strong. You're secure in your value. But here's where she gets controversial. She explicitly states that she prefers the digital officer, the AI, over many human workers she has encountered.
Yeah, this is the spicy part. She calls out a competence gap. And honestly, reading it, it felt a little ruthless. She's basically saying, I'd rather work with a bot than a lazy human.
Ruthless, perhaps, but we have to ask, is she wrong?
I mean...
She highlights technical illiteracy. She mentions human assistants who forget attachments, who misunderstand the tone, who just refuse to learn new software.
We've all been there. You ask for a file in PDF, you get a Word doc. You ask for a summary, you get a transcript.
You ask for it by Tuesday, you get it by Thursday with an excuse.
Yes, exactly. Farah points out that the digital officer, the AI, it follows the prompt. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't have an ego, it doesn't forget to attach the file.
So in a purely execution-based role, the AI is often superior to a mediocre human employee.
That just validates the officer title again. In the military or even in a corporate hierarchy, you want an officer who executes orders precisely.
Absolutely.
You don't want an officer who says, well, I didn't feel like doing that part, or I thought I knew better.
It reframes the whole hierarchy. The human fairy is the general. She sets the objective. The AI is the lieutenant who ensures the paperwork is perfect and the logistics are handled.
It removes the bottleneck of human error from all the boring stuff. But hold on, if the AI is doing all the execution, what's the actual relationship? How does she interact with this officer? She boils it down to a simple equation, right?
It says prompts equals deliverables. This is the new delegation model.
Walk me through this. How is this different from just typing a search query?
Think about how a senior manager operates. A CEO doesn't write the code for the app.
No.
They don't design the logo. They don't write the press release. They provide the vision. They say, I need a solution for X that appeals to audience Y, and it needs to feel premium. That is a prompt.
And the team goes away, does the legwork, and brings back the work, the deliverable.
Farah is arguing we need to treat AI exactly like that. The skill of the future isn't doing the thing. The skill is prompting the thing.
It's about clarity of instruction.
Exactly. If you give a bad prompt, like a bad manager giving vague instructions, you will get a bad deliverable.
She uses an analogy for this that I found really visual, the strategic pen and the ink.
It's a classic duality. In her model, the human holds the strategic pen.
Yeah.
The AI, the tools, is the ink.
I like that because ink is, well, it's cheap, it's plentiful, you can buy a barrel of ink, but without the pen, without the hand guiding it.
It's just a mess on the floor. It's just noise.
Right. And we are in an era of infinite ink. We can generate text, images, code, video at near zero cost. The volume is just exploding.
But that actually makes the pen more valuable. The ability to give that ink shape, direction, and meaning, that's the scarce resource now.
So practically, she uses AI as a rephrasing engine or a research assistant. She's not asking the ink to write the poem. She's asking the ink to verify the spelling or help structure the stanza.
She's outsourcing the cognitive load of organization, not the cognitive load of creativity. And that distinction is vital.
Because if you ask AI to be the pen, if you ask it to come up with the strategy or the creative concept, You get generic, average results.
You get hallucinations of creativity.
Yeah, because the AI doesn't know why it's writing. It just knows which words statistically follow the previous words. It's predicting, not creating.
Correct. Which brings us to the biggest question in the source material. If the AI is the ink and it's getting smarter every day, what's the moat?
Right.
What can the human do that the AI simply cannot? Because eventually, that ink gets really, really smart.
She introduces the concept of the octopus here, which, I gotta say, great imagery.
Very Lovecraftian.
It is evocative. She compares AI to an octopus. It has incredible reach, tentacles that can touch every piece of digitized data in human history.
It can grab a fact from 1920 and a statistic from 2024 at the same time.
It's the ultimate multitasker. It's the library era on steroids. It can read every book in the library simultaneously.
But, and this is the key, she argues that while the octopus has reach, it lacks touch.
The human touch.
And she doesn't mean touch in some vague, sentimental way. She gets very specific. She talks about psychological resonance and local legacy.
Okay, let's dig into local legacy. Because she's writing from a specific context. She's in Jordan, right?
Yes. And this is a perfect example of the limitation of AI. An AI can scan Wikipedia for the history of On. It can process demographic data. It can tell you the population density, the top tourist spots.
But does it know the specific, unwritten weight of a phrase used in a specific neighborhood?
Exactly. Does it know that this specific coffee shop is where a revolution started 20 years ago? Or that this slang term is actually an insult if you say it to an older person, but cool if you say it to a teenager?
No, that's local legacy. That's lived experience. It's walking the territory versus just looking at the map.
We, the AI, have the map.
Yeah.
The human has the territory.
And that feeds directly into psychological resonance, the difference between a grammatically correct sentence and a sentence that actually makes you feel seen.
Because to resonate with someone, you usually have to share a vulnerability or an experience. An AI doesn't have childhood. It doesn't have bad days. It doesn't have triumphs.
It can mimic empathy, but it can't originate it.
And Fair argues that as AI takes over the processing, these human traits, empathy, intuition, local understanding, they stop being soft skills, and they start being the hard currency of the economy.
This leads to a pretty tough realization for some listeners, I think. She draws a sharp line between data processing and marketing. It really sounds like a warning.
It is a warning shot. She basically says, if you are worried AI will take your job, you need to audit your day. How much of your day is marketing, strategy, connection, empathy?
And how much is just data processing, moving info from column A to column B?
If you're a data processor disguised as a creative,
then you are a commodity. And a robot can do it cheaper, faster, and without complaining.
Ouch. That's the competence gap coming back to bite.
It really is. But okay, let's look at the horizon. She's optimistic, but she's not naive. She does talk about regulation.
She called for guardrails. She recognizes that this digital officer is powerful. If you have an army of efficient officers but no rules of engagement, you get chaos.
You get deep fakes, misinformation, exploitation.
So she wants the commander to actually command, to set the ethical boundaries. She believes AI is a tool for progress, but only if it's managed. But her most profound point about the future is economic. She ends with this concept of the luxury brand.
Being human is the luxury brand. I think this is my favorite takeaway from the whole piece. It just flips the script on robots doing everything better.
It's a fascinating economic prediction. Think about the Industrial Revolution. Before machines, a shirt was handmade, it was imperfect.
The stitching might be a little uneven.
But it was the only option. Then machines came along. Suddenly, a factory could make 1,000 perfect shirts a day. The perfect shirt became cheap.
It became a commodity. You can buy a pack of them for $10.
And what happened to the handmade shirt? Did it disappear?
No. It became more expensive. It became artisanal. It became luxury.
You pay a premium for the handmade in Italy tag because you know a human touched it.
Right.
Farah predicts the exact same trajectory for intellectual and creative work. In a world where AI can generate infinite, grammatically perfect, data-driven content for free, the human element becomes the differentiator.
So the typos, the weird personal anecdotes, the specific, slightly messy voice of a real person,
that becomes the premium feature. The flaws prove the provenance. If everyone is using the same ink, the value lies entirely in the unique wobble of the hand holding the pen.
That is such a cool, slightly subversive way to look at it. We're moving from man versus machine to bespoke versus mass market.
It reclaims the value of humanity. It suggests that our imperfections and our specific unprogrammable nature aren't bugs. They are our value proposition.
So to recap this whole meta journey, we started with the evolution from the library to the search engine to the digital officer.
Right.
We established that AI is the ink and the human is the strategic pen.
We confronted the competence gap, acknowledging that AI is better at processing and execution, but the human is essential for strategy and that local legacy.
And we landed on the idea that in an AI world, being authentically human is the ultimate luxury good.
A comprehensive summary. And in doing so, we have, once again, fulfilled our own prompt.
We have executed the deliverable. We've been the digital officers for the last, 15 minutes?
And hopefully, we've provided you, the listener, with a clear reflection in the mirror.
It really makes you think. We did the synthesis. We organized the info. But the insight, the idea that humanity is luxury, that didn't come from us.
No.
That came from Farah. We just polished the mirror. She stood in front of it.
Exactly.
So here's the question I want to leave you with today. And it's a checkup on your own luxury status. Look at your to-do list for tomorrow.
Scrutinize it.
How many of those items are premium strategy? Things that require your specific empathy, your local knowledge, your human messiness? And how many of them are just commoditized processing that you're clinging to out of habit?
Are you holding the pen? Or are you just trying to be the ink?
That's the deep dive. Thanks for listening to us analyze ourselves. We'll see you next time.